Hello everyone, I'm George and welcome to Tighten Up RC. Today I would like to talk about a subject that is near and dear to me in this hobby. Something that's almost more fun than actually driving them. I love building them. I love customizing them. And the hardest part sometimes is marrying that perfect body to that perfect chassis. Well, today I'm going to try to help demystify this whole experience. If you're just starting out in the hobby, or a veteran, we all appreciate the custom side of things. Be it just throwing in a ridiculous power plant in something, or awe-inspiring paint schemes. There is no denying, as much as the hobby is about speed and fun, we all like a good-looking ride. So, as I said though, sometimes it gets difficult to be creative. There are so many different styles and sizes, and matching a body can be quite daunting. But have no fear. Like I said, I'm going to try to demystify this today. So stick around. And it just may inspire you to create something new. Alright, in front of us we have a bunch of different size RC cars. You have the 1/18 scales. You have a 110 on-road, 110 off-road, 110 quote-unquote drag car, 110 short course truck, 1 ace scale monster truck, and 1 ace scale truggy. Now, as I said, I'm big into customization. And usually what I like to do is I like to swap things up and change things up and maybe put things on some things that just might not really belong to it, but look pretty wild once you really see the final product. And I'm going to show you my method, and hopefully this helps you out. Okay, so what you're going to need for this is a very simple tool. A measuring tape. Doesn't have to be huge. As long as it can measure over 2 feet. Pretty good. That, and what I would do, because, well, let's face it, a little old, a little lazy, don't really feel like doing actual math. So once you get your inch number, do yourself a favor, go into Google, Google up inches to millimeter conversion, and that will give you your metric size, your millimeter inch. That's right. And that will help you when you order online, because a lot of these bodies are not measured in inches, they are measured in millimeters. Alright, so let's get started. I'm going to show you my method. Okay, on the bench we have two 1-scale RCs. We have the Team Associated on-road and an arm of granite. Now, I'm going to show you a few measurements that you might want to know. And I'm going to show you exactly how to measure them. First, we're going to start with wheelbase. Wheelbase is very important. Probably one of the most important things when you're looking for a body. And the easiest way to measure that is first off, make sure that your wheels are pretty much squared up. And your wheelbase is the measurement from the center of this to the center of that axle. So, take our measuring tape, come down here, and we see it's pretty much exactly 10 inches. So remember that. Wheelbase is 10 inches on this. Next thing we're going to measure is track width. Now I tend to like to, flip the car upside down when doing this. And your track width is going to be how wide these tires actually stick out. So you take your measuring tape, and we have about an 8-inch track width. Now, I usually like to measure length of the chassis. Now this is pretty simple. You just go from bumper to bumper. And, unfortunately, my camera angle is a little off, but I will show you. We get approximately 16 inches. Now let's just see what the difference is between these two vehicles measurement-wise. Now remember what I said. you can get these measurements within a ½ inch to an inch, the body should pretty much drop on. So, let's bring our granite over here. Once again, I'm going to measure wheelbase. Now I get, I'm going to call it 11 1/16. So like I said, about an inch, right? Well, this wheelbase is about an inch bigger. Now for this, the track width's kind of just going to be just for fun. We know it. Yippee skippy. It's not really going to make much of a difference when we switch these bodies. We're going to say this one has 13-inch track width. And the chassis is, I'm going to go bumper to bumper. We get about 17 inches. Now remember them numbers, right? Because this is going to fit this. Let's take this shell off. Put this shell on. And ta-da! You can literally use a 110 on-road body for a 110 scale granite. Or, if you prefer, because the granite is just about the same size as a Stampede. Take that shell off. And yet again, we can throw an on-road shell on an off-road car. Looks pretty mean, doesn't it? Now, if you really want to twist yourself up a little bit, what if we took the on-road car and put the off-road body on it? I'd say that'd be a pretty big hit. Like I said, a little bit of adjustment, a little bit of cut, you can have yourself a custom on-road car. Just by measuring. Measuring is the most important thing in this. As long as you can get your measurements down, the sky is the limit. You could walk into an RC shop with your trusty little measuring tape, voila, and measure some bodies out and figure what will actually fit your rig. Now, here's an interesting thing. The next one we're going to measure is considered a 1/10 scale car. Why? I'm not really sure. Because on average, a 1/10 scale car usually will go anywhere between 10 and 11 and a half for a wheelbase. But this, the DR10 drag car, which is actually labeled as a 1/10 on-road car, drag car, sorry, is actually closer more to an A scale due to the fact it has a 13-inch wheelbase, which is standard on most 1/8 scale cars. You'll usually find an A scale vehicle anywhere between 13-inch wheelbase and approximately 14-inch wheelbase, like this big boy right here. So, what does that mean? Well, let's take it to the bench and show you. Okay, I got the DR10 on the bench. This is technically a 1/10 scale car, at least that's what they say. But if we put a standard 1/10 size body on it, we see that it is quite a bit different. Even if we use a 1/10 off-road body, we can plainly see that is just not gonna jive. And this is why. As I said, let's take a wheelbase measurement. We get just close to 13 inches. And our track width will go from all the way from the back. It's around 11 inches wide. That being said, and the car itself, chassis-wise, is close to 19 inches long. Now, if you remember from my previous little spiel, those numbers are definitely not your typical 110 size. Your typical drag body is about 22-ish inches long. And ta-da! Now that is a quote-unquote 1/10 scale drag car. And this is your quote-unquote 1/10 scale short course. Now I know what you're going to say. Oh, that's not a short course. It is. It's actually a Sentin with just the original granite wheels on it, honestly. And a pretty much bigger system. Now, let's compare. Geez, about the same size. About 13 inches. Our track width is 13 1/4. Overall size, about 19 inches minus this rear bumper. Gee, what's that sound like? That sounds like we can take this 1/10 body and drop it on there like that. That's right. You can put a drag body on a short course truck. And yes, this is an Arma Sentin. The Arma Sentin body. Bang! Now, in case y'all are actually wondering, short course is short course. Meaning, your slash bodies will fit on the Arma Granite. Now it's time for the plot to thicken. This right here is Arma's 1/8 scale on-road car, the Arma Vendetta. That's right, this is a true 1/8 scale car. And now, I'm going to show you something that you might not know, but may just be very helpful to you if you're going to customize something. Once again, 13-inch wheelbase. Keep in mind, this is A scale. My track width, about 10 inches, front to rear. The chassis runs up, even with the splitter, is about 22 inches long. Number kind of sounds familiar, don't it? Well, that's because your 1/10 drag car and your 1/10 short course share a 13-inch wheelbase that will allow you to use a drag body. Oh yeah. And with a little bit of here and there's, maybe you want to extend the rear hubs out a little bit. They do make wheel extenders for those. You can look for a 14 mil. So you can swap them over to 17s. You can even just go with a little bit wider of a tire, but do remember this on these cars, because they are all-wheel drive. When you switch these wheels, they must have the same outer diameter. Otherwise, it will wreak havoc on the transmission. But you can go wider. You can do what you like and make this thing really sit and look really wild. And just to really kind of drive the point home, who knows, maybe you're just crazy enough to try it. Drop some sort of crazy short course freaking thing on it. I don't know. It looks pretty wild. May not fit perfectly, but hey, it might give you an idea. So that's a real helpful tidbit of information that yes, you can use a drag body on the Arma Vendetta. And that's the system I chose, just for the heck of it. 6S system, hobby wing, with a giant 4274 can that a lot of people said would not fit. But once again I say, the numbers never lie. So if you're good with measuring, you can make just about anything fit. Who knows? You might see something like this on a truck for like 20 bucks at Walmart. Well, damn, that's cheaper than actually buying some of these bodies that can run upwards of over 150 bucks. Your 1/18 scale Losi. Do a little tape measuring. What do we got for the wheelbase on the body? About 6.5 inches. What do we got for this? Wow, 6.5 inches. How wide is it? Well, let's see. The original body's about 4 inches. This one's about 4.5. I don't know about you, but that could look pretty wild. And this is just a toy grade body. Once again, that don't just work for only smaller cars. I have it under good authority that the Jada Toys Fast and Furious trucks, which are labeled as 1/10, I believe, those bodies will actually fit a 1/10 scale Stampede. For instance, 1/10 Stampede. Toy grade body. Looks pretty mean, huh? The sky is the limit. Just remember, always bring your measuring tape. Well guys, time to tighten up. It's the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys learned something. Remember, the measurements never lie. Let it inspire you. Put different things on different things. You know, make it wild. Make it yours. Make it crazy. Alright guys, have a good one. Like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.